this video, we meet several people who are taking a 10-day course of Vipassana meditation for the first time.
I just heard that it was, well, what my friend told me, it's a 10-day retreat, no talking, and that's really all I heard, just meditating for 10 days and not talking.
Our son Harry has been to a course here, and that's how we heard of it, and Harry felt that it might be beneficial to both my wife and myself, psychologically.
I heard about it through a friend who had another friend who sent some books to her, and she offered to loan me the books, and I read the books and was very impressed. I thought, this is for me.
I've been feeling for the last couple of years that I'm going through a change, that I need to go through a change, and that some really quite big major change is sort of coming up, or I'm in the throes of it, which is making life as unbearable as it is. And I said, you know, like, I really needed to clear my mind, and he said, Vipassana meditation, you see. I thought, there it is again, that word, you know, again. And so that's when I wrote off for the info, and it came back, and I noticed that S.N.Goenka was taking this course, which wasn't too far in the future, and I thought, I'll wait for that one. So I applied it, and here I am.
It's just really nice to get out of Sydney, and it was lovely getting off the train and realising half the people on the train are actually coming as well. So, and just to look around at the diversity of the people, and to know that, you know, some have done it, some haven't done it, and it's just great to see that there's so many people that are into this technique or are interested in trying it out.
Well, what my wife and I observed was the wide range of areas that the students have come from, if you call them students in the course. We noticed just alongside our vehicle were a Queensland number plate. There was a Canberra, a Tasmanian, Victorian and the South Australian number plates all alongside. So it's obvious people have come from everywhere. So we're sort of looking forward to positive results from being here.
Even though when I first was intimidated about the 10 days of silence, I thought that would be good, to be with yourself for 10 days and to be out in the mountains, away from the city. That really appealed to me. And to learn a meditation technique, basically, because the only thing I've done creative visualization. That's basically it. I haven't been, like, I think somebody told me that it's to do with breath and your body, and so.
12 years ago I did TM, and I practiced it, I think, for about 6 months, and then it went.
I've done it in my own sort of way. I've been swimming for the last 10 years, and I sort of use that like a way of centering myself, of meditating, and I'm interested in trying this technique just as a way of just clearing a lot of things, just getting back to, or getting more in touch with my essence.
Oh, just make a better person out of myself, yeah, you know, mentally, physically, whatever, you know, the whole lot. Yeah, spiritually, I'm looking forward to it.
The other experience with meditation was something I couldn't quite come to grips with, because it had a lot of religious sort of overtones, and there were a lot of rituals and stuff, which reminded me very much of my Catholic upbringing, which I'd rejected, and I think that was all getting in the way, you know. And when I read about this and read the literature on this, it just seems much cleaner, much less cluttered, and less confused with, like, religious overtones and gods and pictures of people on velvet chairs that you have to bow down in front of and stuff like that, you know.
I think the fact that it was the insight meditation, it wasn't just sitting chanting in your mind a mantra and having a nothingness, but it was an actual learning process, and to me that just seemed a better way to go.
The only expectation I have is, for me, is maybe just to be more calm within myself and be able to make some decisions about my life and where it's going and what I've been pushing down, I think, emotions and everything like that.
To have less fear and anger I think, or at least to be able to confront that and look at it and work my way through it.
I've come a couple of thousand k's to do it, so you know I can't really jump back now. You know I'm here, so I've got to do it. Yeah.
Despite the picturesque surroundings, a Vipassana course is by no means a holiday camp. It is an intensive and serious process that yields results only by diligently following the rules of the centre and the guidance of the teacher. Although students observe a vow of silence for most of the 10 days, if they need to, they can speak privately to the teacher or to their assistants. In the first part of the course, students focus and calm the mind by observing their natural breath. This heightened awareness is then used to penetrate to the deeper levels of the unconscious mind. This begins the process of mental and physical purification. This is called Vipassana. Much of the day is devoted to meditation, but during meal breaks and rest periods, students are free to exercise, attend to personal needs, or just relax. At the end of the 10-day course, we spoke to the same students about their experience.
You know, the silence is something that isn't hard to take as far as I'm concerned. The rest of the voice has been a little bit of a problem getting the voice going again after 10 days of complete rest.
I realised how conditioned I was to speak to people and to communicate with people, even just sitting down at breakfast. And you wanted to talk to somebody and you couldn't. And I found the silence really hard for the first about 4 or 5 days, and then all of a sudden it was fine. It was bliss.
It was quite strict, but I think it needed to be. I mean, I think me personally, I needed a kick, because there's a battle going on. Part of me was saying, look, this is great, I want to go to India and do a 30-day retreat. And the other part was saying, are you crazy? What are you doing here? You know, this is hard. I must be out of my mind. But I mean, I knew there'd be a battle before I came here. So the longer I was here, I just learned to just observe that and think, well, okay, look, I'm going through this. That's okay. We'll just watch it.
Day one, I wanted to go. You know, I had serious reservations about the wisdom of doing this, and I thought I had heard stories about people going mad and stuff like that. You know. I thought this could happen, I suppose, in my present mental condition. And then day 3 was blissful. It was like, oh, this is wonderful. You know, I really felt probably happier than I've felt for many years on that day, all day. It was just sort of like a blissed out thing. And of course, looking back on it, I fell into the the trap of craving.
I had a girl say to me this morning, when you came up here, she said, you were so drawn and so lined. I thought, was I? I didn't know.
I realised how much I was caught up in my own little world of all the egocentric and the self-centred things, and trying to make myself happy just for myself and not being able to. I mean, I was giving to other people, but not expecting something in return. So in that way, I think it'll benefit me as well. Be able to give to other people without expecting anything.
I think it's something that will reinforce my previous feelings and probably give me incentive to try and communicate harmony and peace to the world, which is after all what we're all aiming at, isn't it?
It's given me a better idea of where, how and why we stand in the scheme of things, and it's brightened my horizons more or less. Just instead of having such a narrow point of view, you know, it's just, it's everything, it's all out there, you know, it's so big. It's just brilliant there.
I think I'm a bit more open and a bit more compassionate. Not quite as locked into myself, maybe, you know. Been a bit of an opening, I think. I have.
I feel I now have a tool for expanding my awareness of where I'm headed in this life. It's the first time, and I've been looking for a long time, I've been looking maybe for 30 years, and I've done a lot of reading, always knowing there was something else. This is the very first time that I've actually been able to find something that tells you how to do it. All the other things I've read are similar in terms of what you should try to achieve and things like that, and none have ever told you how. And this tells you how.
The thing I really like about this technique is it's non-sectarian. I've felt, the older I've got, I didn't feel religious, I don't feel religious, but I'm feeling more and more spiritually inclined, I guess you'd say. And for me, this is a way to develop that without becoming a member of a certain sect.
I found there was a great deal of sort of support, very quiet sort of support and compassionate support sort of lurking in the wings, you know. And that was reassuring.
I mixed in well with all the others there. Everyone's so easygoing and cooperative.
Yeah. I think it's well run. I think it's wonderful that the people that meditate here come back and give service and become part of it, because it just keeps the feeling of everything very much alive, and everything just seems to fall into place.
I realise now to concentrate on making myself happy, then other people will be happy around me. So, and if I'm more peaceful within myself, then I will be more peaceful.
I had a real need to find some sort of clarity and simplicity in my life, and I feel this technique, I mean, it's given me a lot of time, or just being here and not speaking for 10 days to go over what I'm doing with my life. And nothing feels wrong at the moment. I mean, I feel like I'm going in the right direction. I think this technique will help me to get clear about it, though, and hopefully will open up opportunities for me to practice what I believe.
I'm very glad I did it. Yeah, very glad.
The first step's always the hardest in anything you want to do, but once you make that step, it's always easy. Like I do a lot of work, and with the type of work, the first step's always the hardest. Like gold mining, dredging, the first ounce is always the hardest to get, but once you get it, you're away.
Vipassana meditation, as taught by Mr. S.N.Goenka, avoids all rituals, chanting and guru worship, and is open to people of any religious persuasion. There is no charge for taking a course. The centre and the courses are funded solely by student donations, and new students are free to contribute only after completing a 10-day course. None of the teachers or helpers at the centre receive any form of salary or payment for their service.